Okay, I'm going to start from the back for tonight's homework, okay? Very last page, bottom, start with number 8, work backwards, and then wherever we stopped, you can do that way. Okay, we'll start with number 8. We're solving for the isolate the variable y. Leave that alone. That's the variable side. You need to make 3 over 8 equal 3 over 10 equal to 0, so you have to minus 3 over 10. 3 over 10 minus 3 over 10 is 0 over 10, or just 0, because 0 divided by 10 is 0. So that makes 0. And 0 plus y here is y, okay? That's how they get y. 0 plus anything, it's itself. If you minus 3 over 10, you have to minus 3 over 10 on this side also. Okay, so now your least common denominator is 10. The least common denominator is 10. Leave this alone because it has a denominator 10. Change that by 5 into 10 is times 2 times 2. That gives you 8 over 10. 8 minus 3 is 5 over 10. Which can be reduced. Divide both by 5. You get 1/2. Okay, divide both of these by 5. You get 1/2. Alright, and that's your answer. This next one here, always reduce all fractions to additive inverse. Anytime you have a minus problem here, isolate the variable, that's the variable side, additive inverse plus a negative. Okay, so you need to make anything on the variable side, make the number without variable equal to 0, but in order to make 0, -1, you have to plus 1 over the denominator 3. Okay, that's 0. Put 0 like that. See, h plus 0, it's like 10 plus 0 is itself. 11 plus 0 is 11. 1 million plus 0 is 1 million. So h plus 0 is h equals to 3 over. Okay, if you're going to add 1/3, you need to add 1/3 here. Notice I gave you a lot of space here. So the least common denominator is 15, right? 5 divided into 15 is 3 times. That's 9. 3 into 15 is 5 times. That's 5. So you add them, you get 14 over 15 is h. Okay, this is an isolate variable side. That's a plus, that's a positive 1/2, so, or a positive 1. In order to make a positive 1 equal to 0, you have to add a negative 1/2. Okay, minus 1/2. That 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 plus m is m equals to, you minus 1/2. Common denominator is 4. Right, well, 4 is here. Let's not, you don't have to rewrite it. So you only are changing this one times 2 times 2. That's 2, so this 3 minus the 2 is 1 over 4. So your answer is reduced. Number 5, isolate the variable g. This is a positive 5, so you minus 5 over 6 to make 0. 5 over 6 minus 5 over 6 is 0. 0 plus g is just the letter g. Now, if you're going to minus, you minus to both sides. Again, notice I gave you a lot of room here to show your work. Least common denominator is 16. No, 6 doesn't go. 24. 24. 24. 24. 8 times 3 is 9. Times 4 is 20. You minus, oh, here you get a negative number. There's nothing to borrow. because there's nothing to borrow, you minus. Okay, that's a negative 20. So 9 minus 20, or plus a negative 20. Yeah, the bigger number takes the sign here. So that's a negative 11. Subtract 20 from 9 is 11, negative 11, because the bigger number is negative over 24. And that's your answer. Okay? Here, same thing. Isolate the variable. That's a plus. You don't need to make additive inverse. Make a negative 1 equal to 0 by adding 1 over 7. That equals 0. 0 plus x is x. Add 1 over 7. Oh, this is, okay, this is, because there isn't any with multiplying and dividing when there's no fraction. It's assume a 0 over whatever this denominator is. In this case, is 7. 0 plus 1 is 1 over 7. 8 plus nothing is 8. Okay, like that. This one here, this is actually a very important concept right here. Makes life easier. Isolate the variable y, so this is a positive 2, you minus 2 with the denominator 5. That's 0. 0 plus y is y, so minus, same thing on this side, minus 2 over 5. Common denominator, least common denominator is 10, leave that alone. So 10 times 2, you get negative 4. So, or plus a negative, you know, any minus is a plus negative, right? That's a negative 4. Add 3. So you subtract because there's one negative. So that's negative 1 over 10. 4 minus 3 is 1, and the bigger number takes the sign. All right. Now, this one here, you need to make this one equal to 0. So you minus 6 over 7. That's 0. 0 plus g is g. Okay, least common denominator is 14. I'm writing here because there's no room here. Forgot to leave you guys room. Sorry. Negative 12. Or minus 12, because if you do additive inverse to minus, it's a negative 12. Same thing. Because there's one negative, you subtract. 12 minus 5 is 7. The bigger number is a negative, so your answer is negative 7 over 14, which is reduced to negative 1/2. Okay? And this one here, you isolate the variable here. That means that's a negative 1, so you add 1 over 4. Okay, that gets you 0. 0 plus x is x. Add 1 over 4. Remember, here there's no fraction. No fraction means has a numerator 0, because 0 divide anything. 0 divided by 4 is 0. I'm using 4 because this denominator here is 4. You want the same denominator just here. I use 7 because the denominator is 7. Okay, so you add and you get 1 over 4, and with a whole number 4. And that's your answer. Okay, here, number 3, you're dividing it by negative 6. M equals, okay, divide, let's see, 183 divided by negative 6. 2 negative is a positive, negative and a negative. 6, oh no, that's 36. 3, 18. 0, bring down this 3. 6 cannot go into the 3, so you put a 0 there. Okay, kids, you guys have a hard time with this division all the time. Can't go in, you have to put a 0. 0 here, you got a remainder of 3. So your answer is 30. Okay, your answer is 30 with a remainder of 3 over the denominator 6, which can be reduced. 3 over 6 is a half. Okay, number 4. Divide by a negative 5. F is equal, divide, 10, 41, divide by 5. You should not, I need to see this work here on your paper, so this have an important concept you need to learn. That's 2, because when you divide, here's the problem here where most of you have. You bring down that 4. You know that 5 can't go into 4, and you bring down the 1. You cannot do that yet. You have to divide by 5 first. 5 cannot go into 4, so you have to put that 0 up on top of the 4 because it cannot go in. And the 0 here, you got a remainder of 4, but you can't stop because there's a 1. Now divide by 5 into 41, you get 8, you get 40, and now that's a remainder of 1. Okay, so your answer is 208 with a remainder of 1 over this denominator of 5. Negative because there's only one negative. Don't forget that. I'm going to put this a different color so it doesn't look like part of the equal sign there. All right. I hope we finish these 2 pages in class and more. Okay? But if not, we'll do this. Solve each equation so all steps when dividing, leave answer as a mixed number or improper fraction, mixed number or just simplified fractions, okay? This is a division, negative, divide 5. It's divide, the opposite of divide is multiply. So we multiply this by a negative 5. Multiply this by a negative 5. Okay, negative 5, that gives you negative 5 over negative 5, which makes it 1. And 1 times t is t equals 2. Remember, we're not making zeros, so you can't multiply by a positive 5, only a negative 5. You can divide by 1. You multiply that, that's 25, carry the 2. 2 negative is positive, by the way. That's 7, 10, 1 over. So 107.5 is your answer. Okay, again, this is division, so you need to multiply by a negative 2.3. Multiply by a negative 2.3. You can do this. You can use a calculator, I think. On this one, I hope you guys all know how to multiply double digit, right? If you don't, this is what you do. Pretend the decimal's not there. Multiply, placeholder for this one, the ones place. You're multiplying the tens place. You add them. 1 decimal over, 1 decimal in. So R is a negative because there's only one negative. Negative 287.5. Okay. What did they do wrong here? Here's the variable. This is division. You cannot add and make 0. You have to multiply. Explain what is wrong. The student should have multiplied both sides by negative 6, not add 6. So, then it says solve the problem correctly. G over negative 6 equals to 7 times negative 6 times negative 6. G equals to negative 42. Okay, like that. Okay, explain why that's wrong. Okay, that's wrong because this is a negative 4. So you need to multiply by a negative 4, not a positive 4. It's not adding to make 0. This is a division. So anytime you see a division, we do the opposite operation, which is multiplication by the exact same number. So why is this wrong? The student should have multiply by a negative 4, not 4. Okay, solve that. That's divide by negative 3. So you need to times a negative 3. Times a negative 3. Which gives you a positive. 2 negative is a positive. 45 equals to B. Well, I hope we got this far in class. Okay, so this is divide by negative 7. So you have to multiply by a negative 7. And that gets G equals